Welcome back to the NHL '08 Dynasty Mode with the Carolina Hurricanes up here in year 8 of the simulation, still with 0 Stanley Cups to our name. And in the 2015 playoffs, we meet the Philadelphia Flyers with the exact same record as us on the season in the first round of the playoffs. We looked at their lines at the end of last episode, but we're going to take a peek at them again. Their first line, they have an 89, 91, and an 88. That's not terrible, but compared to our first line where we have a 90 and then two 97s, we definitely take that battle right there. Their second line, they have an 86, a 90, and an 87. So that is a really solid second line, having a 90 overall on there as well as an 87. Third line, they definitely have some depth here. They have an 83, an 84, and an 80. And on the fourth line, they have two 82s and a 79. So they have depth up and down the lineup. They do have some top-end players, although they don't really have anyone that's in that league best type category. In goal, they don't have a 90 overall goalie. They have two mid-80 overall goalies, but these guys are going to be good enough to get wins. But you got to think that we like our matchup with that goalie in net. And on defense, they have two top-tier defensemen on their first pairing. Their second pairing is really solid, an 84 and an 81, and the third pairing is really weak. So we got to try to exploit that third pairing, have our third or fourth line guys be able to get goals for us when they are on the ice. And looking at our team, that's exactly what these guys did during the regular season. Bob Bolarai, Simon Horkoff, and Yuka Peltola all were only like minus 18, I think, on the season. Let's check. Yep, minus 18, which is not bad on the fourth line. They all had like 25 plus points. Plus our third line is stacked with two 87s and an 86 on the third line. So these guys should be able to get it done whenever Philadelphia's third pairing is on the ice. Our top two lines match up well against their top two lines. I like our first line over their first line for sure. Our second line is a little bit weaker than theirs technically when you come to the overalls, but we know how these guys play. Wade Celios is a stud. David Colleton is a beast, and Tuomo Ruutu's a beast. On defense, you already know what we got. We got Zinoviev and Lassoff on the first pairing. Zinoviev's growing. Usually Tim Gleason is right here with Dakiv. Tim Gleason is hurt. We'll have to check on that. And then Brett Carson and Kirk Flaherty on our third pairing. Our third pairing looks like a second pairing, to be real. And then we're going to need Cam Ward to play well for this entire playoff run. So Tim Gleason is going to be out until May 9th. It is only April 20th. Nice. It is only April 20th, so he is probably going to miss this entire first round of the playoffs. So we are going to run with this how we have it right now, but we can't stress about Tim Gleason too much because the first round of the 2015 playoffs is upon us versus the Philadelphia Flyers. The year 8 simulation, this needs to be a season where we make a deep run in the playoffs. There's no getting knocked out in the first round. There's no getting knocked out in the second round. We need to make a deep run in this playoffs. We need to be playing for that trophy. So here we go. Game 1 on 4/20, the year 2015. The Carolina Hurricanes face the Philadelphia Flyers in Game 1 of the playoffs, and the simulation is underway right now. After the first period, what do we have? Philadelphia goes up 1-0. They go up 3-2 in the third period. They're still up by 1 goal. We score 3 in the last 5 minutes. I don't know if it was the last 5 minutes. We scored 2 in the last 5 minutes. Wade Celios and David Colleton in the last 5 minutes of the game win it for the Carolina Hurricanes. The second line, oh, y'all think their second line's better than our second line. Our second line just snatched that game from their hands. Huge game there from Wade Celios. And right here at the end of the season, you can actually see it a couple weeks before where we are right now. We made the line change to put Wade Celios back on the second line and to drop Andrew Ladd back down to the third line. And we went on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game win streak. So the Carolina Hurricanes are hot coming into this playoff run. Wade Celios is hot, and going into game 2, will he be able to keep it up? Will Jordan Staal be able to dominate a game? The Carolina Hurricanes are trying to go up 2-0 in the series. Philadelphia goes up 4-3. No, they won it 5-3. They have the huge period in the third this time. Guys, I'm so sorry that this keeps happening. I just have shitty equipment. Let's be honest, I have shitty equipment. The videos keep freezing on me midway. I don't even know when we got lost. I saw that the video was froze sometime in this Philadelphia series. So what happened here after we lost 2 games back-to-back in Philadelphia, we took Cam Ward out. Cam Ward got benched. We put in Phil Ast. Phil Ast then went on to win 3 games in a row. So we started the second round versus the Atlanta Thrashers. Phil Ast lost this first game. We won the second, and then we lost game 3. So Cam Ward has been now we're caught up. We're caught up to this point. So Cam Ward has been put back in for this game right here since we've lost 2 games with Phil Ast. And we're just at another big turning point in the series. We've talked about it so many times. This is a game where you're either going to lose and go down 3-1 in the series, or you're going to win and the series will be tied 2-2, and then it's now just a best of 3. We already know how all that works. Nothing truly incredible happened in any of these games besides me just getting frustrated that we lost. We do kind of have our backs against the wall right here. This is a must-win game. So Cam Ward is back in the starter's crease. We need him to start playing well like we know he can. He's a 91 overall goalie. There's no reason why he shouldn't be dominating out here. I mean, a 4 goals against average, that's so bad that it's embarrassing for him to have that overall and have those stats. It's really crazy. So yeah, I'm sorry that I missed the end of round 1 and I missed the start of round 2. I can't go back. The game auto-saved on itself, so I can't go back and try to recreate any of that magic. What's crazy is I feel like I had a lot of really good play calls for these last games of round 1, but that's fine. We're moving on. We're here facing Atlanta right now, and this game is either going to push the Carolina Hurricanes back against the wall to where we're going to have to go and win 3 games in a row just to advance, or we could win this game right here and be tied 2-2 in the series and everything's evened up. That's what needs to happen. We have to win this game right here. It's a must-win game. Cam Ward is back in the starter's crease. We need him to show up. He hasn't let a goal. Okay, now he's let 2 goals. Hold on to it, Carolina. Hold on to it. We do hold on to it. The series is tied 2-2. That is absolutely massive. We did not want to have to face 3 elimination games in a row, and Jukka Peltola is out with a sore shoulder for 4 weeks. And it should be Sergei Erdashev. It is Sergei Erdashev, so we're not really losing that much with Peltola being down. Sergei Erdashev slides right in, fills that hole really nicely. That's what she said. The good thing is the ultimate goal was never to just get past round 1. The ultimate goal is never just to get past round 2. Our ultimate goal is to lift that Stanley Cup trophy. So from here on out, I'm checking to make sure my equipment is recording every 3 seconds. Here we are in Game 5 of Round 2 of the 2015 playoffs versus the Atlanta Thrashers. It's down to a best of 3 game series now in Round 2. We know how this works. We have home ice advantage for it. Let's win this first one right here, so then all we have to do is win one of the last 2 games. Let's get this game under our belts. We go up 2-0 quick. They tie it up 2-2 in the second. They score 2 in the... Oh, no, they win! The Atlanta Thrashers are up 3-2 in the series, and now the Hurricanes have to win. We have to win 2 games in a row. There's no way around it. We are facing elimination games from here on out in this series. I tell you what, man, Cam Ward is playing like a 65 overall goalie. He's playing so bad. I actually don't even know what to do. Do I go back to Phil Ast right here? Do I stick with Cam Ward? I mean, you got to think that I stick with Cam Ward just because his numbers are what they are. His overall numbers, not his stats numbers. His stats numbers are pathetic. Oh, man, do I make line changes? Do I keep it how it is? I honestly don't even know what to do. I trust this team. I trust this team. I have to put trust in this team. I have to put trust in Cam Ward. I have to put trust in our higher overall guys. The guys that we're paying the money to come through and execute. The Carolina Hurricanes could be out in round 2 of the playoffs, and that would be a massive disappointment. We cannot lose this game. This is an absolute must-win. We go up 2-0 quick, but that's what happened last game. It's fine. We're only up by 1 in the third. We still hold on. We hold on. Oh, my goodness. The Thrashers tried to make it a close one. Eric Stahl scores in the last 5 minutes, but they score in the last 5 minutes as well, but it doesn't matter. We hold on by 1 goal and win 5-4, and this series is going to Game 7. I swear, that's how it goes, isn't it? I feel like every call that I had at the end of the first round, and even the start of these second round games I had, was crisp and smooth, and I wasn't stumbling over my words at all. And then I saw that my recording froze, and now I'm flustered, disappointed, angry even, and I'm not calling it as clean as I was earlier. But we got to lock it in here. The Carolina Hurricanes have to lock it in here. It is Game 7 of the 2015 playoffs in round 2. And you want to talk about turning points in a career. If the Carolina Hurricanes are knocked out right here, who knows if Gert Gerdington's job is even safe. This is the year 8 simulation. If we get knocked out with just another year of failure, it doesn't matter if you keep making the playoffs if you can't do anything in the playoffs. So, this is a really big game. Really, really big game right here. I feel like more often than not, the Carolina Hurricanes have knocked out the Atlanta Thrashers in the playoffs. I'm sure they hate that. I'm sure they want nothing more in this world than to eliminate the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're going to do, and they'd love to do it in Raleigh as well. But from Gert Gerdington's perspective, we cannot lose this game. I've said it before, the ultimate goal is not the first round. The ultimate goal is not the second round. That was early in the universe. We're at the point now where winning and moving on is the only option. Game 7 starts right now. Jumping into it, we need our big players to come through and make big plays. We go up 1-0 early. We go up 2-0 early. Cam Ward! Cam Ward! Oh, I said his name and then he lets in 2 goals. I thought he was going to get the shutout, but we win in Game 7. Carolina Hurricanes, we're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And what did I say at the end of last video? The team that wins the Eastern Conference Finals are going to win the Stanley Cup. Every single top team in the league was from the Eastern Conference. The Stanley Cup champion is going to come out of this Eastern Conference Finals series. I'm telling you right now. Looking at the playoff stats here, we are halfway to our goal. We have won 8 games. Our goal is to win 16 games in the playoffs. We're halfway there, so we're going to take a look at the stats. Eric Stahl up to this point has 16 points in 13 games. Jordan Stahl has 15 points in 13 games. Coach Steetson, almost a point per game. Look at our second line, Colleton, Ruutu, and Wade Celios. These guys are playing like a first line. And Eric Stahl is actually the one burying goals this time. You love to see that. Andrew Ladd has 5 goals on the third line, 8 points. Zinoviev, Lasov, Flaherty, Dakiv. All the points are being spread out really well here. Everybody's playing well. And you have to be able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, you're going to need every player on your team to play solid if you're going to be able to advance deep into the playoffs. Looking at the goalies, 6 games played for Phil Ast, 8 games played for Cam Ward. Phil Ast, a 4 goals against average. That's the same as Cam Ward's back whenever we took Cam Ward out. So Phil Ast, maybe, who knows what's going on with our goalies, man. My goodness, no, we just can't get any goaltending at all. And the Carolina Hurricanes in round 3, the Eastern Conference Finals, we match up against the Buffalo Sabres for the second time in this universe. And the first time we matched up, Buffalo eliminated Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals. They then went on to lose in the Stanley Cup Finals, so we kind of owe Buffalo a little bit of revenge here. Yes, the year after Buffalo knocked us out of the Eastern Conference Finals, we played them in round 1 of the playoffs and eliminated them, but it's not the same as eliminating a team from the Eastern Conference Finals. You're only 1 series away from playing for the Stanley Cup, and so to get knocked out at this point is devastating. We owe that to Buffalo now. Looking at Buffalo's lines, they definitely have some good players in their top 6. They have some okay players in their bottom 6. Who do they have in net? Oh my gosh, they don't even have a goalie. 74 overall. Goalie is their number 1 goalie, and their backup is a 63. I mean, literally, what are we doing here? I have a 91 overall goalie and an 82 overall goalie who are simulating 4 goals against on average every single game. And Buffalo meets me in the Eastern Conference Finals with 2 goalies that are below 75 overall with a 74 overall goalie? Is this a joke? Is this a prank? On defense, they only have 1 guy that's even above 80 overall. Everyone else is trash. They have no depth on defense. They don't have a goalie in the net. They only have a top 6 that's decent. This team is going to beat me. I already know this team's going to beat me because they're trash. The good news is that Jason Pominville has retired, so Jason Pominville and Thomas Vanek don't have their chemistry in order to just run up the score. I don't know. This series honestly makes me really nervous. This is a big year for Gert and the Carolina Hurricanes. In the Eastern Conference Finals of the 2015 playoffs, and we come up against a Buffalo team that looks weak. They don't have a goalie. They barely have any depth. This is the type of team that worries me the most for getting knocked out. Because if they knock us out, like, what can I even do to correct that? What can I say that I could have done better? Like line changes or... I don't know. It wouldn't matter because every single player that I put in every single position compared to them is better. So there's just no reason why they should be able to beat us. That being said, we're going to jump right into Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and we're going to see what happens. There's only one way to figure it out, and that's to do it. We go up 3-1 early. We go up 4-1 early, 5-3 in the third, and 6-3 win in Game 1 of the playoffs. That's how every game should be. This should be a 4-game sweep, dude. Let's get this over with. I'm not even worried about Buffalo. That trash-ass team, dude. Our offensive, the players that we have on our offensive core going up against a 74 overall goalie, I mean, what can you do? What are y'all going to do? Y'all can't stop them. You don't have the players to stop my players. You don't have the goalie to stop my players. It's just not going to happen. We're a better team. Hey, listen, y'all got close. I'm not going to lie. You made me nervous with the last 5 minutes right there. But it's still a victory for the Carolina Hurricanes. We're still up 2-0 in this series in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm simulating this like we owe this to Buffalo. They deserve this after what they did to us, knocking us out of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's time for us to come through and end their hopes. We're going to overtime. They win it in overtime, and that's how they beat us the first time, man. They win games in overtime versus us. Every time it goes to overtime, we just can't beat Buffalo. It's always Buffalo that beats us in overtime. Every other team, we win in overtime. But when we play Buffalo in overtime, they win. But there's no reason to panic yet. That's only their first win. They had to win one of their games at home, you would think. Yuko Peltola is back in the lineup. I see my boy David Colleton has made a jump up to 86 overall. That's what I'm talking about, big fella. Like I said, not the end of the world. Buffalo, all they did was win one game at home. We could still take one of their games at home from them right here on the 25th. And this is another one of those games, a big turning point in the series. Do we go up 3-1 in the series, or is the series tied 2-2? Like I've said before, we have been up 3-1 in numerous series before and collapsed to lose. It honestly feels like more times than not, when the series is tied 2-2, we do come away with the victory. So I'm not even sure what I want in the result for this game right here. But the game simulation is underway nonetheless. We go up 3-0 in the first period. They tie it up in the second. We're going to overtime. They win it in overtime again, dude. I'm telling you, every single time. This was just a copy of last game. Every single time it goes to overtime, they're going to win. We cannot allow these games to get to overtime. We have to win in regulation. Cam Ward is cold in overtime. The dude sucks in OT. Honestly, he's been giving up a shit ton of goals this entire playoff run. All right, listen, calm down. Calm down. I can't freak out. I just said it. It's not the end of the world if we go 2-2 tie in the series. So I'm not going to freak out. We still have Buffalo right where we want them. We've now simplified it down to the best of 3 series. We know how these work. We need to win 2 of these last 3 games. Let's not panic. Don't panic. Let's keep our heads. Let's play how we know how to play. Let's not let it get to overtime. Let's win these games in regulation. Let's hold on to leads. Hold on to leads, please. Thank you. Thank you. Those last 2 games, they just kept making comebacks and then taking it to overtime and beating us in overtime. But this time, we finally hold on to the lead and come away with the victory. Carolina Hurricanes are 1 game away from eliminating the Buffalo Sabres from the playoffs and getting our revenge that we owe them. So can we do it in Buffalo? Can we send Buffalo packing in Buffalo? Don't even make them take a flight to Raleigh. Don't waste the airplane jet fuel. No, they go up 3-1 in the third and they hold on to it. Damn it, dude. We're going to a game 7. At this point, we are so deep into this playoff run, we're not going to make line changes. Our team is who our team is. We know what we have. We know what we have to do. You want to talk about simplify? We've simplified it down to 1 game and 1 game only. This is it. This game has to be won to make it to play for the Stanley Cup. This used to be a hump for us. This used to be a hump. We used to not be able to get past the Eastern Conference Finals. We used to not be able to get past this game right here. We've done it already. We've gotten over the hump. We've broken that threshold, which means we should be able to win this game. This isn't the pressure point yet. The pressure point has got to be in the Stanley Cup. Please, this cannot be it for the Carolina Hurricanes. This can't be it for Gert Gerdington. Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals of the 2015 playoffs versus the Buffalo Sabres. Will we be able to get revenge from when they knocked us out? Or are they going to step up and do it again to the Carolina Hurricanes? Going into the third, it's tied. Holy shit! We score so many in the Andrew Ladd scored 2. Andre Kostistin scores 1 in the last 5 minutes of the third. We eliminate Buffalo. We're going to the Stanley Cup Finals, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We're fucking in there. We are in there playing for the trophy. I'm telling you, man, this is the team. What more can I do? What better players can I put together? And in the year 2015 Stanley Cup Finals, the Carolina Hurricanes are playing the Columbus Blue Jackets for the Stanley Cup Championship. Oh, man, this is it. This has got to be it, right? This has got to be it. This team has nearly an identical record to us. They have 1 more win. That's all. Oh, man, all right, we got to look at Columbus. For the second time in this universe, the Carolina Hurricanes have made it to the Stanley Cup. The first time we lost to the Detroit Red Wings and could not bring the cup home to Raleigh. Our second time around, we are facing the Columbus Blue Jackets for a chance for ultimate glory. Looking at their lines, I have to be honest, we have already beaten teams that look better than these guys. Their first line, they have Rick Nash at 94 overall. That's really their only stud player for their forward core especially. They have a 94, 84, 87 on their first line. Come on, we dominate that. Second line, they have an 86, an 85, and an 85. We dominate that. Third line, they have a 78, 84, and an 81. That's pretty good. I still like our third line compared to anybody's third line. We have 2 87s and an 86 on our third line. Fourth line, sure, their fourth line has some depth, looking pretty similar to our fourth line. But it doesn't worry me. Who do they have in net? They don't have a stud shutdown goalie. They have 2 lower 80 overall goalies, but at the end of the day, they've made it here into the Stanley Cup. Yeah, their route was probably easier going through Western Conference teams, but they're here in the Stanley Cup, and they're a team that can win games. On defense, they do have a stud defender, the 87 overall guy right there, but everyone else, I look at their third pairing, man, a 64 and a 68 overall. I mean, the guys that we have on our bottom 6 forwards should be destroying these guys every time they go up against them. So we should have our depth scoring. Our top lines should be able to handle their top lines. Our goalie has a better number than their goalie. What more is there to say? It all comes down to this. Our players still have to step on the ice and go out there and execute. Same with their players. They still have to go out there and execute. Both teams are feeling the pressure. Both teams are nervous. Columbus has never even made it to a Stanley Cup. This is their first Stanley Cup appearance in the history of their team ever. So you got to think that they're feeling the pressure. With this being their first Stanley Cup appearance ever, and they're facing a team that has made the playoffs for numerous seasons in a row at this point, we're a consistent playoff team. We've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals like 3 or 4 times at this point. We've made it to the Stanley Cup. This is our second appearance just in this universe, plus the one that we won back in 2006. We're only 9 years removed from that in this universe. So Columbus has got to be feeling the pressure, man. Maybe we're the favorites here. Yeah, they've got more points than us technically. They've got home ice advantage technically, but we might be the favorites here. But like I said, the team still has to go out there and execute, and I feel like I've done enough talking. We got to jump into it. What are we waiting on? This is the Stanley Cup Finals. The 2015 playoffs, the Stanley Cup Finals, the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Carolina Hurricanes come out to a fast start, baby. We win Game 1, 6-2, and we're only 3 wins away, ladies and gentlemen. 3 wins away from ultimate glory. We've taken Game 1 in Columbus away from Columbus. We're moving on to Game 2 immediately. While we're hot, we're just going to keep it rolling. We're up 2-0 early, 3-1 after the second, 4-1 after the third, 5-3 in Game 2. The Carolina Hurricanes take Game 2. We're now 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup Championship. And we're bringing it back home to Raleigh. Coming back home to Raleigh. In North Carolina in Game 3. Are we going to go up 3-0 in this series? Are we going to put them down that bad? 4-3, they're up in the third. Can we tie it? We do tie it in overtime. They win in overtime. We just can't get a win in overtime, man. This is exactly what happened with Buffalo. Oh man, our overtime game is struggling right now. Listen, we have to get this done in regulation. We cannot take teams to overtime because we just can't get it executed in OT. Simon Horkoff having a game, man. No, it wasn't a hat trick. He had 2 goals. I told you, versus their third pairing defense, we should be able to get goals, and Simon Horkoff making that happen. But at the end of the day, we do lose 5-4 in overtime in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That's kind of okay. I don't even know if I want to go up 3-0 in the series. That almost puts too much pressure on us. It almost like guarantees the cup for us, and then you play like you have it guaranteed, and you might go on and lose 4 games and get reverse swept. So let's keep our heads. Let's understand that this is still a series, that this is still a competition, and in Game 4, we got to win this one at home. We got to win this one in Raleigh. I don't want to go 2-2 in the series. Fuck all that. Come on, Carolina. Tie it up. No! We are 2-2 in the series. Okay, maybe I'm fine with 2-2 in the series. If I wasn't, I'm going to have to be anyway, because here we are. And the 2015 Stanley Cup Finals is down to a best-of-3 game series. We don't have home ice advantage for it, but I don't think that matters. We just lost back-to-back at home, and we won back-to-back at their place. So we like playing in Columbus. And here we are playing in Columbus 2 out of these last 3 games. And this is for all the glory. This is all the... to be honest with you guys, all the hours of editing that I've done, the hours of recording, the hours of editing... The recording's getting freezing up on me and me losing some footage. 21 episodes in, this has been a lot of work for me, and I really need I need this to come through. I need the Hurricanes to come through. Oh man, right, Game 5. This is the game where we either take the lead in the series and we have a little bit of pressure off our shoulders for the rest of the games, or we're going to go down and have our backs against the wall and be playing in elimination games for the rest of the series. I don't want that. I would rather have the leg up advantage. So let's take care of this game right here in Columbus. Game 5 needs to go Carolina's way. We're up 1-0 after 1. It's tied 3 after 2, tied 4 after 3. Last 5 minutes we score. Jordan Staal in the last 5 minutes, he wins the game for the Carolina Hurricanes, and we are 1 game away. I almost don't believe it. I looked at it and I didn't even process the fact that we won. We won 5-4. We're only 1 game away. We are literally 1 win away from the Stanley Cup Championship, legitimately as well. I have not jumped in to play any games, to win any games for us. I have not exited any simulations to try to restart the luck or whatever could happen. This is legitimate after 8 seasons of simulation, this old-ass, janky-ass game, all the cap space problems we've had, all the players that we've had to trade away for a bag of chips, for a bag of pucks, for absolute nothing, just to be able to put a team on the ice, all the players that we've signed in free agency that we've grown up, some players we've drafted, some players we've had bad luck in the draft. So here we go. It all comes down to this. The Carolina Hurricanes have 2 games to win the Stanley Cup. June 12th, 2015, will that be the day the Carolina Hurricanes, with the opportunity to win the Stanley Cup in Game 6 in Raleigh for the first time? It's tied. We're in overtime. We're jumping in. So here we are in overtime of Game 6. In Raleigh, the Carolina Hurricanes have the opportunity to win the Stanley Cup if they score next. That is all they have to do. Be the next team to score a goal and you win the trophy. You win the Stanley Cup. All right, that's all it takes. Please, Cont, the trade for Keith Ballard. He's got it on the wall. He passes down to Jordan Staal, up to Lassoff on the point, back to Jordan. Over to Zinoviev. He takes a shot and he misses. Oh, Eric from right in front in the slot from 5 feet out. What a big save by the Columbus Blue Jackets goalie. I don't even know who he is. Oh, man. Carolina, please. Please. The 2014-2015 Carolina Hurricanes are trying to make it happen, man. They're trying to make it happen. The players on this team are so good. We have the best team. We just have to execute. Stop Rick Nash. Don't let Rick Nash shoot. Win that race. Holy shit, you're not going to win that race. Oh, bury it! Oh my God! It was sitting there. It was sitting on the goal line. How did that even happen? Shoot it, Zinoviev. Bury it, Jordan Staal. Give it to... Shoot. Oh my God. Just get it past that red line. Inside the net, please. Lassoff moving in. Oh, we score! We score! Matt Lassoff wins the Stanley Cup for the Carolina Hurricanes. A lot of Slav Smeed trade way back for Matt Lassoff. It comes through. He gets the game winner. What a move to skate down into the slot and bury the wrister at the top left-hand corner. The 2014-2015 Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions. Andrei Kostitsyn is your Conn Smythe winner. The Keith Ballard trade brings home your playoff MVP. And Eric Staal, Captain Eric Staal, playing with his brother Jordan Staal, raises the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup champions. Oh, and that's it. We don't get anything else. That's everything. And we just get to see the Conn Smythe trophy and Eric lift the cup. Nobody gets to skate with it or anything. But it doesn't matter. We've done it. We've done it. 8 years. 8 seasons of simulation with this old game, man. Finally. Oh, I honestly thought I was going to have to jump in and play the games for us to ever win a Stanley Cup. I didn't know if we were ever going to be able to simulate it and have it legit. Who's the 3 stars? Matt Lassoff, of course he's the first star. Wade Celios had 2 goals. Matt Lassoff, the hero. Oh, is there a replay? Let's look at the, oh, I can't look at the replay. Oh my goodness, we finally did it. We finally did it. In year 8, Gert Girdington brings home the Stanley Cup to Raleigh. And we win it at home in Raleigh as well. To see Eric Stahl lifting the cup, knowing he probably passed it off to his brother Jordan, Cam Ward throughout his ups and downs, man, he finally gets it done. We did end up sticking with Cam Ward for the rest of the playoff run after Phil Ast had his little set in there. But the Carolina Hurricanes, man, the 2014-2015 Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions. Show it to me. Show me the little pop-up. There it is, baby. The playoffs have ended. The Stanley Cup champions are the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's go. Let's go. And the trade with Pittsburgh looks a little better now. Yeah, they've won multiple Stanley Cups, but now Jordan Stahl is also a Stanley Cup champion with the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, man, I don't even know how to continue from here. Oh, we look at the player stats. Let's look at the player stats. The player stats for the Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup championship run. Eric Stahl, 31 points. How did Kostitsyn win the Conn Smythe? I honestly don't know how Kostitsyn won the Conn Smythe with 26 points in 26 games when you have Wade Celios, David Colliton, Jordan Stahl, and Eric Stahl ahead of him. Wade Celios had 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points. David Colliton, 21 assists, 28 points. So David Colliton and Wade Celios, we brought these two guys in together. We both had them very highly touted on our prospect list. And who would have thought that these two guys together have the chemistry to be able to win the Stanley Cup? We have Eric Stahl and Jordan Stahl who have chemistry with each other on the line together. David Colliton and Wade Celios on our second line have the chemistry together. Kostitsyn and Ruutu are our two left wings. It seems like the center and the right wings, they just get along. Dakiv is the first defenseman that I see on this list. Peter Dakiv with a huge playoff run, 19 points in 26 games as a second pairing defenseman. Andrew Ladd had 10 goals on the third line. Matt Lassoff, the Stanley Cup game-winning goal, 15 points in 26 games played. He was an even, which tells me that he didn't play great, but he won the Stanley Cup for us, so I love the guy forever. Tim Gleason had 13 points. He almost had as many points as Lassoff. Dave Boland, this guy has just been grinding on our... We picked him up from Chicago off of waivers years ago, and ever since then, our assistant GM has been blackmailing him into staying on this team for way less money than he could be making. And at the end of the day, like if you tell him that he's going to stay on the team for less money, but he's going to win a Stanley Cup, he'd probably take it. Dave Boland is a Stanley Cup champion. Leo Zinejev, our number 2 defender on this team now, growing into our number 2 defenseman on this team. 13 points in 26 games. Justin Keller been grinding for us for so long on the bottom 6, and he's grown up to an 86 overall. And he's still in our bottom 6. This guy's just an absolute stud for us. Simon Horkoff, 10 points. We saw how many goals this guy had in important games as well. And he actually ends with him and Bob Bolarise. Where's Peltola? They had a plus minus. They were plus. They were plus on the fourth line. It just goes to show you that these guys were taking advantage of those other teams' really bad third pairings. You got to have the depth, man. Kirk Flaherty, Bob Bolarise wins the Stanley Cup champion with his dad Jesse in the AHL. Yuka Peltola, Stanley Cup champion now. Brett Carson, Sergei Erdashev gets his name on the cup. I don't think Vasicek didn't get a game played. He's not going to get his name on it. That's too bad. Goalies, I mean, goodness gracious, man. Look at our goalies. .865 save percentage, a 3.54 goals against average. How did we win the Stanley Cup with this? Look at that, man. Look at that. Stanley Cup champions, Carolina Hurricanes. Copyright that shit. Mr. Gert Girdington, Stanley Cup winner. From all of us here at the league office, a heartfelt congratulations to the Stanley Cup champions, the Carolina Hurricanes. I think we can all agree that they have earned this honor through hard work, diligence, and perseverance. That is absolutely true. Hard work, so many hours of recording and editing these videos, diligence and perseverance. The kinks that this old game has that they kind of smoothed out more for the more modern games, we persevered through all that. And the Carolina Hurricanes and Gert Gerdington are the 2015 Stanley Cup champions. I'm just going to keep saying it. The more I say it, it doesn't get old. I can just keep saying it over and over again, and it feels good every time. This is what I don't understand. This is the draft order, and the Carolina Hurricanes are last. That's correct. But then there's Pittsburgh, Boston, Washington, Vancouver. Shouldn't Columbus have the 29th pick? Why is this happening? Here's the salary cap for next season, $62.875 million. It's gone up a lot since we were having our big troubles back in the low 50 millions. And here's a look at the awards. The 2014-2015 Stanley Cup champions, you already know, the Carolina Hurricanes. Pittsburgh won the President's Trophy, but they were cursed. Clarence S. Campbell, Prince of Wales goes to us. Art Ross is Sidney Crosby, taking it from Ilya Kovalchuk, so those two are just trading back and forth. The Hart Memorial goes to Sidney Crosby. The James Norris Memorial goes to Ken Popst 2 years in a row. The guy is just an absolute stud. Lady Byng goes to Sidney Crosby, so Sidney Crosby's just winning everything this season. The Calder Memorial goes to Manny Leopold, who I'm sure is a goalie. The Conn Smythe goes to Andre Kostitsyn. A little bit controversial here. I am happy that the trade sending Keith Ballard for Andre Kostitsyn worked out for us, but I'm not really sure how he won the Conn Smythe. He wasn't leading our team in point. He had 5 less points than Eric Stahl. So I'm not really sure, but maybe it was just for the Stanley Cup series itself. Like maybe he played really good against just the Blue Jackets, but I really thought that they took the entire playoff run into consideration when making the Conn Smythe pick. But either way, Andre Kostitsyn takes it home. Good for him. The Vezina goes to Marc-Andre Fleury. William M. Jennings goes to Marc-Andre Fleury. The Bill Masterton Trophy goes to Lucas Kaspar. The Selke goes to Keith Dixon. He won it back in 2011-2012 as well. Lester B. Pearson goes to Thomas Vanek. And the Maurice Richard goes to Sidney Crosby. But let's loop back around. And let's look at the Stanley Cup champions, Carolina Hurricanes. Look at that. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if this series is going to continue. It is called a Dynasty Mode, so maybe I will have to chase the Dynasty. We've got the team set up in a position where we should be able to be successful for many years to come. We're young. We've got the high-end talent. It's possible that we could win multiple Stanley Cups. Honestly, I'm just relieved that we got this first one. It took me 8 years of simulation, numerous hours of working on it. I hope you guys have enjoyed up to this point. But for now, Gert Gerdington is signing off in the year 2015, a Stanley Cup champion for the Carolina Hurricanes. Will he chase the dynasty, or will he take his Stanley Cup and ride off into the sunset, forever a Carolina Hurricanes legend?